Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Ribran. You're watching Talks with TC, and we are back with another amazing interview. So, guys, first up, I hope you guys are safe. You're taking care of yourself and your loved ones. That being said, let's start today's session. So, guys, Quentin Tarantino rightly once said that if a million people see my movies, I hope they see a million different movies. Guys, whenever we see a movie, we see our perspective of someone's story through someone else. We appreciate the actors, the music composers, the cinematographers, but there's one person who is the actual soul of the movie, and that is the director. The director is the only person who actually knows what the movie is about. So, for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we have someone who's not just an amazing director, but he's also an author, a musician, and a producer. Please welcome the award winning author and director of Tikli and Lakshmi Bomb, Aditya Kriplani. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. How's quarantine been? How's
ये
work been
मुझे
like?
थोड़ा मैं disagree करूंगा on the idea that the director is the soul of the film. Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of the only few things you can do in your life where the soul itself is shared. When you talk about the IPR, people don't want to share it, so that's fair. But
All
I
right.
can say
I
that the
stand
soul is
corrected.
genuinely shared. Yeah,
That I stand corrected. So
that's right.
movies are professions where the soul is
No,
actually
no,
shared.
correct कुछ नहीं. It's just sharing my point of view. That's all.
Okay, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So we can start with the questions whenever you're ready. The
Sure,
very first question
sure.
that I have for you is, what was the motivation behind choosing this path of an artist, author, or director? Take us through your complete journey.
I don't know really. I think I just wanted to tell stories. So I've written ad films, I've written articles, I've written novels, I've written films. So I've just wanted to tell stories, I think. And there's something about storytelling, which is at some level, like I've always liked conversations with people. And I think the fact that I want to tell stories is also coming out of the same thing. That when you talk to someone else, संवेदनशीलता और हमदर्दी में पूरी जिंदगी कट जाती है at some level. So I think that's what happens with films also, clearly. So you end up becoming like a storyteller because it's like a conversation. Conversation. I'm not surprised that a lot of films are like a good conversation. You feel like you've met someone new, especially a good conversation. Like if you're in a place like McLeodganj,
That's right.
where you meet someone for the first time and you get to know someone else's worldview and you get to know what their life is about and how they're dealing with things. And sometimes you feel that maybe it gives you inspiration to deal with your life better. Yeah, so I think it's just been storytelling for me. That's how I ended up with filmmaking. And I think um, now when I look back, if I think about it from and to start with, I'll say I'm an atheist. So when I say spiritual journey, I don't necessarily mean it the way the world sees it. But I think when you look at the journey of the spirit, the human spirit, in some sense, I used to be a very self-involved person. So when you write ads, or when you're writing novels, or when you're especially when you're writing novels, because it's a very isolated line of work, very beautiful in its own way, and I really enjoyed that time. But I feel that filmmaking ended up making me less self-involved and more about other people, because you can't, as a filmmaker, it's your job to, at least I see it as my job, that everyone on my set is happy in general. I'm not going to be able to do away with their common unhappiness of everyday life, like if they didn't get a taxi to the set, and if life has been difficult, or if like Vibha's daughter has got her exams and she's anxious, for example, then that's something I can't help. But on my side, at least, that they should be that those many years of what they've been seeking as artists, that they're able to come close in finding it. That's something that I feel is my responsibility. So I try to see to that everyone has that. And so I think that's what it became for me, that it became about being part of a medium of telling stories which is less self-involved and more about other people in some sense.
So storytelling, the love for storytelling actually guided you to become an
Yeah.
artist and a filmmaker. That's really amazing, sir. That gets me to the second question. So the tag associated with the Bollywood industry as the entertainment industry, is it a bit unfair, don't you think? I mean, because it stands for so much more than just entertainment. I mean, whether it's social injustice
Right.
or politics, this industry has always stood out and set out a very big and clear message for everyone. There are movies like Ek Ruka Hua Faisla, Tikli and Lakshmi Bomb, Aligarh. Also, the pandemic has more than anything exposed the weak links of the society. So I'd like to ask you, how do you think can this industry change the game in the lines of gender equality, education, and awareness? Also, the fact that you strongly believe that genderlessness is a good way to go about it, right?
That's fair. That's fair. I think we really need to talk about or get into the mind how do you, like, when you make an antagonist in a film, the best antagonists are those into whose mind you can really get a peek. So I find that, and the weaker antagonists are those where you just characterize them in a unidimensional, or like in a unidimensional way. So I feel it's the same with, if you really want to understand or you reach this genderlessness space, I think one really needs to talk about male conditioning as much as we talk about female conditioning as much. So we need to keep talking about the conditioning that women have to go through, about sexuality, about expressing themselves, about freedom, about being able to do whatever they want to with life. For example, if you want to be a housewife, then that's a feminist choice. It's just about whether you want to or not. So I'm saying the same amount of conversation about men's conditioning needs to really be there, which is why you have now, when we made our fourth film, which is about suicide prevention, the stats were really surprising to me that in every country in the world, men commit more suicide than women. So I think it's just something that we need to talk about as to why, what is male conditioning. Then the other thing we need to do is, like, if there are antagonists in today's day and age in our society, what made those antagonists? Like, I would really like to have a film that talks about what made Harvey Weinstein. Till we don't understand that, I think punitive measures can stop someone else. Like what you can do when you punish people very vigorously, and I live in Singapore, which does a great job of that. 6 months a year I live in Singapore. So when you punish someone, उनके अंदर जो भी devil है उसको वो action लेने से बंद करेंगे. But वो devil कम नहीं होता अंदर. So you have to have a two-pronged approach. I think that you need to be able to change the conditioning at the grassroots level, like from the time someone is young, as well as have punitive measures so that कोई करेगा नहीं. तो action रोकने के लिए strong laws and enforce them, and behavior change karne ke liye you have to have behavioral methods, which is conditioning and understanding. So I feel that as a society we never, let's say we don't make films on those things. So let's say with Devi or Hero, what we try to do is, there's a therapist in Devi or Hero who starts to fixate on his client, or no client nahi bol sakte, but the patient, the person who's come to them for therapy. It's one of the most wrong things morally that you can do, and yet hopefully by the end of the film you feel for that therapist also, because he's really trying hard to not be that person. So I find that kind of filmmaking or storytelling, and I'm not only, definitely not talking only about, like, it's not like I'm here to talk about my films, but I'm just saying that if I see films or stories that talk about who we consider antagonists and take us into their mind and try to help us understand how they were made. Like if I just go by, since we're talking about, I mentioned Harvey Weinstein. Forgive me if my answers is a bit long, but he grew up in a time when Rolling Stones and were like people like Rolling Stones or groups like Rolling Stones and groupism and groupieism was a very common thing. And there was this whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll phase. See the way it's even said. There was no negativity attached to it at all when Harvey Weinstein or someone like that was growing up in that entire time and phase. And a lot of the people that have been named in the Me Too movement, who are stars or superstars by the time the Me Too movement came in, like a Dustin Hoffman, like, no, I don't know any of those people personally, but from what one has read about them, they've all grown up through this period of what we used to call the flower power time. So at that point, success was associated with open sexuality, with as much as you could have scored, as many women as you could have slept with, as much of intoxication as you could have experienced in your life. That's the kind of conditioning that someone has grown through. So it's important for us. It's not the aim of this entire exercise, to my mind, is not to try to empathize with someone who's doing something wrong to anyone else. It is to understand what makes that mind. Then only can we try to change that conditioning, to my mind. Of course, in a most evolved manner, we should be able to empathize with everyone. I mean, that's the most evolved state that we can get to. But let's say, for lack of that state, I would feel that at least we need to understand. So that's basically how I think society and cinema and literature and arts can really move towards. Just like Tota Pataka is not what it sets out to be. When you see the trailer of Tota Pataka, that's not what the film is about at all. That last scene of her sitting on the pot is the film, on the commode. That's the whole film for me. So that's how I feel. I feel if people end up writing and making stuff like that, then it just pushes you to change, and we'll reach genderlessness only when we really love each other. Like I know that there are so many men who have at a core a certain subconscious bias against women. There are so many women who have a subconscious bias against men, and that's, I think, something that we need to introspect on. It's very difficult to look at someone else and say you. That has to just go in here. If everyone turns it in here and looks within, we'll be okay, to my mind.
That's actually very nice. And acceptance is a part of change. To be very honest, like you rightly said that we need to emphasize and understand also a person's mind and the way it has been conditioned to understand and change the
Yeah,
situation of
that's
today.
all. That's all. You
That
don't
is
need to feel
really
sorry for that person if he's making, he's a perpetrator, but you need to at least understand how that happened, because till then it's just a demon in front of us, but we won't know how that demon was formed in some sense.
that gets me to the third question. That is, being a director is difficult. You have to bring out your story to someone else. That's not an easy job. Plus, there are also a lot of things that influence the final product. I mean, your target
Yeah.
audience, the comfort of your actors, the whole team, and even the HODs. Amongst all this, you have to do the justice to the script also and achieve the vision that you have set out to achieve. So, tell us more about these challenges and how have you overcome them and how has it changed you as a person?
The screenplay is like the blueprint of everything in a film. So whatever differences really in points of view that one has, I think many times people ask that how do you deal with what if the actor doesn't agree with doing a certain scene? But I feel that if someone makes films, they realize that no good actor is going to reach the set and disagree. Like you had 6 months of prep time on a film. So it's at the screenplay level that the actor disagrees with something normal. Any respectable actor, according to me. So you have all those discussions at the level of a screenplay, and then you either if let's say as a filmmaker you feel very differently from someone, then you may choose to not go ahead together. That's fair. But mostly what happens is that people who come together to make especially independent films are people who have a common worldview. So at the core आपका वर्ल्ड व्यू नजरिया एक जैसा ही है at some level. दैट आपको दुनिया एक किस्म की देखनी है और आपको उस दिशा में दुनिया को बढ़ाना है, तो वो अगर कॉमन है आप में, तो फिर ये बाकी जो भी छोटी डिफरेंसेस है बिकम स्मॉलर डिफरेंसेस, देन यू आर ओपन टू लिसनिंग टू ईच अदर बिकॉज द वर्ल्ड व्यू इज कॉमन. It's like a Democrat and a Republican making a film together is a very complicated thing at some level like that. So, I mean, if you're already two Democrats, then it becomes easier, or already two Republicans, it becomes easier. As an example, just as an analogy. So, I think that is one major thing, that all things have to be discussed before you reach a set, because I find that the set is like entering the temple. Again, I say this as an atheist. A temple is a place of worship in some sense, where it's a communion with yourself, in some sense, again, and where everyone's one. If you see, the rich and poor are always one in a temple. Like, these are the nice effects of religion to my mind. So film is like that for me. Like, ideally, once you reach that set, we are all one, and there's a nice term called esprit de corps, which means of one spirit. So I think that really is where that's why I said there is a shared soul. When you reach a set, that's how it is. Yes, I am the वाहन चालक, उसमें कोई मतलब दो राहें नहीं हो सकते, नहीं तो फिल्म चलेगी नहीं आगे. I am just a charioteer. Like, if everyone sitting behind says that we think we should go this direction, then I'll have to go in that direction. It becomes like that. So I think that getting to that set in a state where everyone feels at least 80% like we are one, then in the rest couple of first few days of the shoot, it becomes one anyway, even if you're not fully there, because again, that's my job to get it to that point. So I think that really helps. But could you just rephrase your question again so that I'm able to
So
be
basically,
more
I'm
direct
asking
with
you
it?
about the challenges you face as a director.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to see, it's about taking, obviously, you have something, you have a vision in your mind, and you have to get it out to someone else. For example, that's what I'm saying. And then you have to
Right.
take care of so many other things also, just like the target audience. And, you also have said, like, you had to, have to cut some scenes and also maybe reshoot a few scenes of Tickling Lakshmi Bomb
Yeah.
because you were worried about the audience that you're targeting. So I'm talking about those challenges. How have you overcome them and how has it changed you as a
Right.
person also?
I would say that one thing is that I've never bothered about target audience ever. Because Tota Pataka का target audience तो था ही नहीं. I didn't know who this film is for. Either it's for everyone or it's for no one. Because women come in watching the film thinking they're going to get something which they don't get. Men come in watching the film thinking that it is against them, which it's not. So who is the target audience? It's a very confusing film in that sense. So I've never thought about target audiences only in my mind. Even for Devi or Hero, I didn't think about the target audience. For Not Today also, I didn't think about the target audience. Because I just think, so that's one thing that I don't think about the target audience. But the other thing is, how do you communicate? I think having clarity of thought really helps. And how you communicate what you want to finally is by convincing everyone. I find that I feel that everyone has to be convinced. So again, the screenplay has to do that. I mean, it's impossible for me to have X screenplay and convince someone of Y. So it's pretty much the screenplay. When an actor, like, there were actors who read Tota Pataka and they didn't want to work on it because they didn't agree with it. And that's fair. Very, very fair. And I'm really glad that they voiced themselves. And that's how it should be. So basically, if you agree to work on a screenplay together, it's like, I don't name them, but there was an online website that said that there are films where men make them and they make women behave like men, and they called Tota Pataka one of them. So I didn't respond because I was like, I mean, how do I respond to this? Because when it becomes like, listen, I'm a woman and I know feminism better than you, I'll say yes. I can't argue with that. Fair. My DOP and a couple of other people from my crew, they went and like argued with that person and said, this is like saying that he made a film where we came to the set and like dummies did what he asked us to. No, we all agreed with the screenplay. We all agreed with that character. We agreed with the fact that that person should be saying that at that point of time, given their backstory and their past. And so we enacted it. So we are party to the entire driving of the film. So the 95% of women that this film consists of, are you saying that we are dumb people? So it was an interesting argument. So I feel like all these things kind of, so that's why I feel like getting it to a united spirit, if you really want to be able to say what you want clearly, uniting people needs to be like one of the biggest things that you can do. And also people coming from very different backgrounds, very different personal psychologies, very different pasts, childhoods, everything, starter of society. One of my EDs used to come in a BMW. I used to go in the rickshaw. So, like it's just very random. Like anyone can come and work on your film, and there's no judgment on anything, like in general. So I feel that uniting people really helps to be able to say what you want to say and convincing people, but also having an open ear. It's literally like सुनो सबकी करो मन की. सुनो सबकी भी बहुत ही important है और करो मन की भी बहुत important. और सुनना भी मतलब वैसे फिजूल के लिए नहीं, मतलब असल में आप सुन रहे हो किसी की बात. And you're taking it in and then discerning, छन्नी है अंदर और फिर आप जो important चीज है उसको रख देते हो, जो बाकी है उसको शाफ्ट को छोड़ देते हो. So it's a bit like that.
That's right. And I think communication is the key. I mean, unless and until everybody communicates on they're on the same page, I think nothing works out. It's not just movies, it's everything. I think even if it's a corporate job, even if it's a relationship, there needs to be a lot of communication. And you rightly said that you need to convince people to be on the same page. That's right. With that, we've come to the end of our main section, and we have a small rapid fire section also that is tailor-made for you. We're gonna have some fun questions, and we're gonna ask you some impromptu questions there. But before that, we have a small activity, and that is known as Arth Ka Anarth. So basically, what we have to do is, okay, this might be a bit of a challenge, but that's the fun part. That the challenge is the fun part. So basically, we'll give you a few Hindi muhavres, and you have to come up with hilarious English translations. So I'll give an example. For example, Begani Shadi mein Abdullah Diwana would go like, for me, would go like Abdullah gone crazy in someone else's wedding, and again, next would be like, okay, दूध का जला छाछ भी फूक फूक के पीता है would become burnt by milk, drinks buttermilk after blowing. So it's just hilarious, anything that you come up with. And we have 3 muhavres for you. The first one would be, तू शेर तो मैं सवा शेर.
I don't know how to make this funny, man. That's the tough one.
It's okay. I think the part funny is the whatever you come up with, it's gonna be hilarious. So that's the funny part. You don't have to make it funny.
I wish. Okay. If you're a lion, I'm Spider-Man. I don't know what to say, man. It's like just the wrong person to try.
Okay. कोई बात नहीं. We can get better. We can get better with the whole thing. So the second one would be like, उल्टा चोर कोतवाल को डांटे. So just come up with immediate.
Man, this just reminds me of Arnab. But anyway, sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah, this just really reminds me of Arnab Goswami right now. Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine. Ulta chor kotwal ko dante. I'm going. Okay, this is upside down thief shouts at the policeman. Yeah.
Exactly. Something like that. Okay, this is gonna be a bit difficult, but I'm gonna take my shot. Okay, so this is the final one, and that is bhagte chor ko langot kafi.
For a running thief, even a pair of boxers is enough.
Running thief boxers enough. That is amazing.
I know.
That is amazing.
Like the whole point is.
Yeah. That is amazing. I think you did very well. I think the last two were pretty amazing. Very amazing. That was really nice. We loved it. We enjoyed it. So we're coming towards the rapid fire section right now, and there's no winner here. I mean, unlike the normal rapid fire, there's no winner. You're the winner.
That's right. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
I mean, not that I'm the winner, but there's no competition. That's all.
There's no competition at all. All you have to do is you have to come up with immediate answers, whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah, that's fun.
All right. You have the opportunity to spend a part of your life as one of your characters from one of your own creations. Who would that be and why?
I think right now it would be, I would want to be Alfred Lee from the film that we're making in Singapore. It's called Father Like. And he's a 65-year-old Chinese taxi driver who spent his whole life in Singapore driving taxis. Yeah, that's basically the character that I'd really like to be. But if you want to talk about my past films, then I think maybe Mahendra Pratap Chauhan. Very surprising, but simply because I feel that he had so much of a scope for change, or for which he didn't, unfortunately. at the end of the film. He still gets up from there when they throw him on the ground and he's like, bach gaya. It's not, Are maine kya kiya? So there was no real change in him. So I feel that if I could be that person, maybe I could try to take in something from what happened. Maybe.
That's
in a
right.
different sense.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So the next question is your tattoos. You have quite a few of your tattoos. I'd like to ask you, what significance do they hold?
So there's a Chacha Chaudhary here, which you can see, which
All
is
right.
so I grew up with my grandparents for the first 3 years of my life because mom and dad were both working in Bombay, both working people. And then they took me with them to Bombay once they'd been able to buy a house, and then I used to be taken back every 6 months in the summer holidays to my grandparents' place. Diwali की छुट्टियों में और फिर जब Christmas की छुट्टियां आती थी तो summer holidays में वही या एग्जाम के बाद जब अप्रैल के आसपास हमारी हॉलीडेज होती थी मई के आसपास. So then when I used to come back from Pune, मुझे नहीं आना होता था क्योंकि obviously आपके grandparents, everyone likes grandparents more because they expect less from you and they don't shout as much, and so I used to not want to come. तो वो bribe घूस दी जाती थी मुझे और घूस में मुझे चाचा चौधरी की कॉमिक्स दी जाती थी क्योंकि वो AH व्हीलर करके स्टॉल होता था हर एक स्टेशन पे. अब भी है बट कम हो गया अभी. तो चाचा चौधरी जब प्राण साहब की मौत हो गई तो फिर मैंने ये टैटू बनवा लिया बिकॉज इट वाज लाइक कि प्राण साहब अमर रहें तो आप अपने किरदारों से ही अमर रहते हो एज एवरी राइटर होप्स टू बी इन सम सेंस. सो दैट्स वेयर इट केम फ्रॉम.
That's really amazing.
Then this one is a Calvin and Hobbes.
Okay.
And it says thank you Hashu. Hashu is the name of my grandfather, and that's how I used to feel when he was alive. So I mean, see, Calvin is totally at ease because Hobbes is around in some sense. So when he passed away, that's what I got done. But Calvin Hobbes is also one of my favorite like comic strips anyway. ऐसा. If you like to know more, it's fair, but I think ये rapid नहीं रहेगा अगर मैं.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can go a few more because we're really enjoying this. It's really amazing and so sweet.
That's fair. Then there's this which is, let me read it myself here. तेरे बिन होर ना किसे मंगनी मेरियां बला. अब मुझे पंजाबी नहीं आती तो इसलिए मैंने पंजाबी स्क्रिप्ट में लिखा नहीं है इसे, मैंने हिंदी में लिखा है. बट ये रवि शेरगिल के गाने का एक लाइन है. मुझे लगता था कि ये बहुत ही एक अच्छी सोच है बिकॉज आप जिसके साथ भी जिंदगी गुजारोगे उनको आपकी सभी डार्क चीजों के बारे में भी पता ही चलेगा और उनको मैं झेलना नहीं कहूंगा बट उनको उससे डील करना पड़ेगा. या तो they'll have to be observers to everything in your life. And vice versa, it's you for them also. So that's what I really liked about it. कि मतलब वो एक there's that song का line goes कि someone wants my face, someone wants my good luck, someone wants my fortune, someone wants my money. Of course, I have none, but all those things. But the point is कि no one wants my demons. So I thought that's a really, no one other than you wants my demons. That's basically what this line means. So that's what I really like.
That is really
I'll
really
do one last one where there's Gulzar Saab's name also. मैंने credit भी दे दिया वहाँ ताकि कोई बोले ना कि भाई आप credit नहीं देते writers को. So this is a line from Satya which says तेरी खसी के बदले मेरी ये जमीन ले ले मेरा आसमान ले ले, which is one of my one of my favorite lines from a song in my generation. Yeah, so that's all. I mean, I don't even need to explain that. It's like really obvious.
That is really amazing, sir. That's so nice. So then gets me to the next question. We love your hair, by the way. You have one of the best hairstyles I've ever seen. I totally love it. But I'd like to ask you one question. What was the worst haircut you ever had and what age?
I think what was worst for me in my head was that one day when I was about 24, 21, 22 approximately. I had shaved my head because I'd seen Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious, and I had got really inspired by him. Then I realized that when you have a really broad forehead and when you have a broad face, bald heads look very different on you than when you see it on, like if you see a Brad Pitt when he's bald, he has a very sharp, narrowish kind of face. So it suits them. Suits तो बहुत नजरिए की बात है, but you won't look the same as someone who has a narrow face. So I think that was a bit of a shocker because like अब तो यार 6 महीने तो लगने वाले इसको वापस थोड़ा भी उगने में. So that was
we've all had one experience where we've all gone bald and we felt like, oh my god, ये क्या करवा लिया यार, है ना? And the funny part
and very
is
few people look good like that.
Exactly. And I think the very funny part is that, you ask the barber, okay, if I just get the, shaved it head, and he's like, oh, you sir, आप तो बहुत अच्छे लग रहे हो sir, आप तो हर hairstyle में अच्छे लगते हो. And then he is able to convince you, and then you walk out and you see people staring at you, feel like, oh my god, what is this? That is really nice. That's very nice. All right. So one final question. So what's the most interesting thing that you have in your wallet right now?
I'll check. Because like that, I don't remember. What is okay? I would say the most interesting thing here is that I had become the member of this bookstore chain here called Kinokuniya, which is like जैसे हमारे यहाँ Crosswords और Landmark हुआ करते थे, अब तो
Okay.
नहीं है mostly, but Kinokuniya जैसे यहाँ का Crosswords है, तो उसकी मैंने membership ली थी अभी कुछ ही एक महीने पहले, तो उसका बिल है, तो मेरे लिए सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है यहाँ, बाकी तो सब बहुत ही फंक्शनल चीजें हैं, क्रेडिट कार्ड है, सिंगापुर का मतलब पास है यहाँ रहने वाला, बस और कुछ नहीं है, ऐसे देख के मुझे तो सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग चीज लगी.
That's actually nice. It's kind of a walk into nostalgia also, I think, right? Because of all that.
Yeah, so yeah, I think, और वो अच्छा एक्चुअली वो बिल के बाद मुझे फाइनली उन्होंने मेल कर दिया था, तो दिस इज बेसिकली जस्ट द मेंबरशिप. एक बुक स्टोर का मेंबरशिप अभी काफी रेयर चीज है अनफॉर्चुनेटली, और मैंने ऐसे ही ले लिया, मैं इतना जा ही नहीं रहा हूँ वहाँ, बट मुझे सिर्फ लगा कि एक पुराना वक्त है, एक कल था जिसमें मैं बहुत जीता था, जो मैं बड़ा खुश था, जहाँ पे हम किताबों की दुनिया में बहुत जाते थे, अब वो कम ही हो गया काफी, तो मुझे लगा कि कौन बुक स्टोर की मेंबरशिप लेता होगा, तो मैंने ले ली ऐसे ही, मतलब सो इट्स द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग फॉर मी इन माय वॉलेट, बिकॉज़ इट इज अ ख्याली थिंग, इट इज नॉट अ फंक्शनल थिंग.
That is true, and that actually is pretty interesting. So okay, so this was supposed to be the last question, but I do want to ask you one more, and it would go like, what would be your favorite excuse for running late for something or refusing to do anything? What would be that one final excuse?
I always say I'm unwell, man. That's just it. Like and invariably it's not so wrong also, because now when you get close to 40, there are times when you've not, for whatever reason, you've not slept well at night, or you're really groggy and you want to move the meeting a little bit, and I think what happens is now finally we formed our own company, so then I feel कि अभी यहाँ भी तुम अपने आप को थोड़ी ढील नहीं दे पाओगे, तो फिर कहाँ होगा. तुम जब किसी के लिए जॉब कर रहे थे, तुमको लगता है कि तुम 10 मिनट भी लेट हो गए काम पे, तो फिर तुम मिडिल क्लास मेंटालिटी है ना, तो बहुत वैसे ही अंदर बहुत चाबुक पड़ते रहते हैं खुद पे. फिर तुम खुद की कंपनी शुरू की, तब भी तुम अगर 15 मिनट लेट हो गए, तो तुम अपने आप को चाबुक मारोगे, तो हद हो गई. सो दैट्स आई थिंक व्हाट हैपेंड. देन आई जस्ट से दैट आई एम नॉट वेल, बिकॉज वो आई डिडंट स्लीप वेल, नो वन अंडरस्टैंड्स मैन, बिकॉज हम एशियन कंट्रीज में तुम्हारी औकात ही नहीं है सोने की, यू नो व्हाट आई मीन, कि काम करो, but I think I feel that I'm not slept well, so I'm not feeling like functional only. So then I'm going to come late as a. So that's probably what I say. I say I'm not well.
That's right, and I think that's the best excuse you can give right now. Just say I'm not well. Everybody is like, "Ghari raho, bhai, mat aana." कोई बात नहीं.
हाँ, अब तो बहुत, हाँ अभी ऐसा है कि मुझे दमा है, तो जब मैं टैक्सी में होता हूँ यहाँ, तो यहाँ पे सिंगापुर में इतनी साफ हवा में they don't like to open the windows, and I get a bit suffocated because you have the mask on, then you have the AC on, then most taxi drivers here are old, so AC की vents उनके सामने होती है, आप पीछे बैठे रहते हो, तो उसको एकदम कम पे रखते हैं because उनको ठंड लगती है. So if I want to open the windows nowadays, I say that I sneeze in the aircon. When you keep the air conditioning on, I start sneezing, so उनकी फट जाती है, तो you open the windows immediately. So I think that's one thing that I lie about.
That is
so
amazing.
I just want more air. That's all. Or earlier I used to say that I throw up. I used to say अभी Indian खाना खा के आऊँ, थोड़ा पेट, stomach is not good, so I need air, fresh air. तो immediately सब शीशे नीचे हो जाते थे. So point is कि अपने प्रॉब्लम को और किसी का बनाओगे, तो immediately वो लोग हेल्प कर देते हैं. आपका प्रॉब्लम किसी को सॉल्व नहीं करना.
With that advice, that is really amazing. We come to the end of our interview, unfortunately. But before we say goodbyes, we have a small activity which we like to call Spread Love, in which what you have to do is you have to either make a call or send out a message in this live interview itself to someone, anyone that you miss right now. And you just have to tell them, okay, that they are really amazing, that you appreciate their presence in their life, you care about them, and that you look forward to catch up as soon as you get time or as soon as everything gets well. So you have the platform, you have the mic, whoever you want to send out the message to.
So am I supposed to like send a message here?
Sure, you can send a message on your phone, like you can make a call, or you can even send out the message on here. It's your choice. It's completely your choice.
So let me send a message.
Yeah, please do let us know who that person is also.
You're saying please let you know. Yeah, sure, man. I will. Okay, I've sent it. So I sent it to Anuradha, who you have coordinated with on this. She's become like a daughter to me and my wife in some sense over the last 2 years. If you see my Instagram post, it'll be very obvious. So when we had gone to see Logan, the film with Hugh Jackman for the first time, Aditi, this was when we were making Tikli and Lakshman. So this was about 4 years ago. All of us, the whole crew had gone, and everyone called her Laura and called me Logan. And at that point, I didn't take it seriously because I didn't have any such feeling, and it was just like, okay, man, whatever. Because they all felt that at the core there is a lot of similarity between us as human beings. So they felt कि ये मतलब almost बाप बेटी की जोड़ी है. So then I just sent her a message saying, lots of love for you, Laura. Thank you for being a part of my life. So then that's really simple, man.
That's really amazing. That is really amazing. On that note, that was the amazing Aditya Kriplani for you guys. So any message for our viewers just before we say goodbyes? Anything that you want to say or share?
Prioritize. One word.
That is as simple as it gets. And I think that's a very deep message there. Thank you so much for taking out your
Thank
time
you.
and coming with us. It was a really, really amazing interview.